Hey everybody, it's Mark Yegi. Welcome to another weekly Market Pulse. Hope you're doing fantastic. And we're yellow, so we're kind of treading water, right? Market's not exciting one way or the other, but it has been, and it could be again. But it's got to kind of get through some of these sellers. Let me show you what I'm talking about over here, and then I'll let you go and have a great weekend. How about that? Deal? All right. So here's what we got here. We got this is last week, and this is this week. And so we got two reds, two greens, which gives us a yellow market. So you just got to be a little bit careful. And, that's what happens when you get yellow. It's like you can't get direction either way. The NASDAQ, you can see it had a beautiful little run up here, and it's kind of stalling right now. That's a yellow market for you, right? So it's come up over the 200-day moving average, and it's just hanging out there above the 200. And the S&P 500 came down and tagged it exactly 5 days ago, and now it's sitting up in this little consolidation zone there. The Dow Jones Industrial, little consolidation zone, but I don't like it because it's below the 200-day moving average, and it's still in this negative death cross territory and doesn't look as strong as the other ones, maybe. And then finally, the New York Stock Exchange is well above the 200, so this is the strongest one of all of them, I feel, and it's doing great. So, but there's not a lot of love and breakouts and breakdowns. It's just yellow, right? And that's okay. That gives us time to kind of figure out what we want to do. Here's the VIX, and the volatility index is right back down to its 200-day moving average. So that's where we want it to be. That means the markets are orderly. Yellow. Jerome Powell was at the White House yesterday. Uh, they don't like each other. Uh, and at the end of the day, you could see Bitcoin. Well, let me show you the treasuries. This is the treasuries. This is why I don't invest in treasuries, right? And I don't recommend people because the people that bought the treasuries here at 140 to get 2 or 3 or 4% ended up losing 70, 80, 90%. Okay? This is supposed to be the safest money in the world besides gold. And it's gone down, from the top, it's gone down at least 50%. So this is not a good investment. So you could do better on your own selling call, buying a stock and selling calls against it. You get 4% that the treasuries were paying or are paying. You can get 4% in like 2 weeks pretty easily if you do conservative covered calls. So that's what I recommend. But anyway, you could see the world is not believing in our money anymore. We don't even believe in our money anymore, and it's dropping in value. This is what our money is doing, right? And when interest rates go up, that's because people they need to pay you more to own it, right? So it's going down. That's, however you want to slice it, this is not good for our country. Bitcoin, however, has hit an all-time high, 112,000 this week, and it's back down to 105,000. It's got a little volatility, but would you rather have a little volatility and it's going up 12% in the past month, or would you want to have some no volatility and have something go down? I'd rather have the volatility. Look, there's a scarcity component to Bitcoin. They're only going to make 21 million Bitcoin. That's it. Like it's not how many dollars are they going to make? Unlimited amount of dollars. Well, an unlimited amount of dollars means it's paper. It's got no value. A limited amount of anything is scarcity. If there's anybody that wants it, it goes up in price. That's what we're seeing with Bitcoin. So you're seeing Bitcoin hit an all-time high, 112,000. Is it the last all-time high ever? I don't know. I think we're really, really, really early to Bitcoin. And if the world is printing money that's worthless, then money is going to go to scarce assets. Gold, Bitcoin, real estate, scarce assets, silver, platinum, oil, whatever. Okay. But not treasuries, as you can see from the graph. Like, look at this graph. Does this graph look different than that graph? Just answer the question, yes or no. Does this graph look different than that one? Okay. Then let your eyes and brain make the decision because this is where the capital markets are going. All right. Apple, you can see it's still in the downtrend. It's below the 50. There's not a lot of reasons to buy Apple right now, but it's Apple. So that's the only really good reason. It's Apple. Like, is it going to go away? I doubt it. He's just in a little fight with Trump right now about, putting stuff in India and building things in other countries and expecting everything to be hunky-dory because he's Tim Cook. Doesn't work that way with the Trump administration. It's like, look, build your crap here, and if you build it here, then everything's great. But if you don't build it here, we're going to charge you 25%. It's not hard, but that's the deal. Apple's got to live with the deal just like everybody else. Um, AppLovin, which was the number one stock last year, is really exciting for a lot of people in our group right now. We're talking about it a lot. There's a lot of juice, which means there's a lot of income being paid on it. It's got a decent chart. although it has kind of broken down a little bit. It's kind of unbreaking down right now. So we all kind of like it. It's a good looking chart and good looking company. So take a look at that. Palantir, which is basically breaking out. It's back in the breakout zone. It is near its all-time highs. Uh, there's a lot of good stuff going on in Palantir. So, I've been talking about it for a few weeks now and, trying to get people to see that there's a lot of money to be made in covered calls on Palantir. And, I think I just put out a video that, 8,100 bucks this week on income alone and being fairly conservative. Tesla is building a nice bottoming pattern. It finally got rid of all of these sellers up until this point. I think it's going to stall here a little bit. I don't know if it's going to stall. It just feels like it is. But it's at least, above the 200-day moving average, got good relative strength, a lot of good stuff going on with Tesla coming into this next month, where they're going to be announcing their robotaxi event in Austin, where a bunch of cars are going to be driving around without drivers, and that's going to be the future. And if you believe in the future, it's not making cars at Tesla, it's the AI that's driving the cars at Tesla. Nvidia, finally getting some strength after it's had this, it looked like Apple. The Apple chart from now is what the Nvidia chart looked like a couple of months ago. So maybe if it's now coming off the bottom, we're going to be heading back up for that 153 all-time high. That'd be great. MicroStrategy, you could see it's kind of making a cup with a little handle here, low volume handle, which makes me happy. We don't want a high volume sell-off handle. So it looks like it's going to kind of maybe bounce off the 50-day moving average. Who knows? But right now it's in a little teeny weeny short-term downtrend, and hopefully we'll get a quick bounce here. If Bitcoin goes up, then in theory, MicroStrategy would go up too, but it hasn't done that in the last couple of weeks for some reason. And there's a lot to it, but we don't need to get into that here. I'll leave you with this last one. This is the Bitcoin Trust. This is performing way better. There's a Bitcoin conference going on in, I think it's Las Vegas right now. And all the big Bitcoiners are there talking about Bitcoin. That's what they do at the Bitcoin conference. Anyway, this is at an all-time high, and it's a healthy looking chart. And it basically tracks Bitcoin pretty well. I did say I would leave you on that one, but I will talk about Google had an artificial AI intelligence conference this week and blew the doors off of everybody else in AI. They got like 9 products that they released at this conference. It was a one-day conference, and everybody's still abuzz about this conference and all the stuff that they're coming out with on AI. The stock is having trouble getting back to its 200-day moving average. Why? Well, if you know, Google for the last 22 years has been selling ads, selling placement. And now when you go to a Google search, like I don't go to a Google search anymore, rare. Like I go to AI and ask it a question, and Google even goes to AI and asks it a question. It doesn't serve up like, hey, here's the top websites. It gives you the AI answer, which 9 times out of 10, at least for me, is the answer I'm looking for. I don't need to go to some website and comb through and read the articles and all that. I want AI to tell me the answer, right? So that means the advertisers are going to be like, wait a minute here. Like, I'm not going to pay you to make you put me on, the first part of the page when AI is going to give the answer and people aren't going to come to my site. So I think people are starting to spend less. And I think we've had the first backtrack in history of less money being spent in ads or less ads being served up or something. Some metric is going backwards. And I think it's the beginning of what is going to be a problem for Alphabet. Now they have cloud and they have the Google Workspace and they have a bunch of other, things that are not search oriented, and they own YouTube. But there's a commoditization going on in that space. So be careful if you're in Google. I don't know what it's going to look like. I think they got some smart people over there that are probably ahead of the trend, but I don't know. The chart doesn't look that awesome right now. Anyway, that's enough for me. Have an awesome weekend. And thanks for being part of the Market Pulse. And if you haven't subscribed, please do to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, please do. There's probably a link somewhere down below. But have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Take care.